In September 1808, after a violent storm in the North Sea, residents of the island of STRONSAY, part of Scotland's Orkney archipelago, discovered an enormous carcass washed ashore on the island's northeastern coast. The locals were experienced fishermen and farmers, people familiar with whales, sharks, seals, and the remains of marine animals. Yet many who saw this carcass insisted it was unlike anything they had encountered before. The body was already partially decomposed, but still largely intact. Word of the find spread quickly across Orkney. Initial measurements and descriptions, contemporary accounts, most notably those recorded by Sir Alexander Laying, Sheriff Depute of Orkney, described the carcass with remarkable specificity. According to these reports, length, approximately 55 feet, maximum girth, around 15 feet, tail length, nearly 11 feet, skin texture, smooth and leathery, without visible scales. Head, largely decomposed or missing by the time of examination. Limbs, none observed. The carcass tapered toward the tail, which was described as having a vertical, fish-like orientation, unlike that of whales. These details would later fuel intense debate, public reaction, and early speculation. At the time, zoology was still developing as a formal science. Many marine species were poorly documented, especially deep-sea animals. Speculation ranged widely. An unknown species of sea serpent, a gigantic eel, a new type of marine reptile, a massive, undocumented fish. The idea of sea monsters was not fringe thinking in 1808. It was part of serious natural philosophy, preservation and destruction. Parts of the carcass were cut away and preserved. Records indicate that portions of the skin were dried and used as straps or curios. Small sections were kept for examination. The bulk of the carcass was eventually destroyed or lost to further decay. Crucially, no complete skeleton was recovered. This would later become the greatest obstacle to definitive identification. 19th century scientific interpretation. Early naturalists attempted to classify the creature based on second-hand descriptions and preserved tissue. Some proposed it was a new species of whale, a massive basking shark, a giant eel, Janus anguilla. However, disagreements emerged over the tail structure and lack of visible fins or gills. At the time, shark anatomy was not fully understood, especially regarding decomposition. The modern explanation, basking shark carcass. Today, the most widely accepted explanation among marine biologists is that the STRONSAY beast was a basking shark, Keterhynus maximus, in an advanced state of decomposition. This conclusion rests on several factors. A. Decomposition effects. When basking sharks decompose, the head and gill arches detach early. The lower jaw separates. The remaining body elongates visually. The tail can appear vertical and serpent-like. This creates the illusion of a long neck and tail. Classic sea serpent features. B. Size. Match basking sharks commonly reach lengths of 20 to 26 feet, with some larger historical estimates. When measured imprecisely in the 1800s, decomposed remains could easily be overestimated. Storm surge and tissue expansion can further distort apparent size. Why the measurements were likely inflated. Measurement techniques in 1808 were not standardized. Factors that likely exaggerated size. Measuring along curved tissue rather than straight-line length. Inclusion of trailing connective tissue, swollen decomposition gases, repeated retellings, amplifying numbers. Later reassessments suggest the actual carcass was significantly shorter than 55 feet. The sea serpent legacy. The STRONSAY beast became one of the most cited examples in 19th century sea serpent literature. It appeared in scientific correspondence, popular natural history books, early cryptozoological works. Each retelling nudged it further from its biological roots and closer to legend.